Welcome back. Get a grip on lighting. On today's show, we have Tom Kieffer of Service Lighting. That's lightbulbs.com. With a robust career spanning over 4 decades, his mission has remained steadfast to develop solutions that significantly reduce energy costs and enhance efficiency for his clients. At Service Lighting, the focus is on leveraging technological advancements to achieve reductions in lighting expenses by up to 85%. And you know what? There is guys that can do that. I'm one of those guys. Greg's one of those guys, and Tom's one of those guys. There's actually people that can do that, legit. Um, a testament to my dedication to his dedication to energy management. As an expert lighting witness, his acumen extends beyond consulting. He applies his sales and project management skills to educate and advocate in legal contexts. Very important. Ensuring justice through specialized knowledge, subject matter expertise. His approach is holistic, prioritizing the needs of the people he serves through innovative lighting solutions and expert testimony. Before we get to Tom, Greg, I think we got to talk about the gangsters of New York. Satco. Go to
That's right.
satco.com, sucker.
Hey, their domino system you need to know all about is their Bluetooth mesh hub-free wireless control solution, embedded motion and daylight sensors with many in-stock fixtures, and it work on virtually any other light fixture as well. We talk about that as being an issue in the lighting industry is not having controls that can be cross-compatible. Theirs can. So check out the domino. It's got all the options and all the fixtures you need. Satco, baby.
And of course, Satco is a vendor member, and Service Lighting is a member of the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. If you have light bulbs in a warehouse and you sell them, and you do projects, and you have a counter, and you sell on the internet, that kind of stuff, this is an organization for you. If you don't do that, then it's not for you. That's how Nailed works. It's only for people that have light bulbs in a warehouse. If you don't have that, you can't join. But if you do, go to naild.org. Tom, welcome to Get a Grip on Lighting.
Hey, thank you. I'll give you each $5 for that introduction. That probably makes me sound better than I actually am.
Well, you know what though?
Greg and I have known
Go
for
ahead.
each other for a really long time. We're both here in the Twin Cities. Ironically, Greg, I don't know how it is on your side, but on my side, there's a big enough pie here in the Twin Cities. I almost never run into your team on any of your customers' projects anywhere. And
Yeah.
I don't run into the big electrical wholesalers here in town for stuff either. I mean, it has surprised me. I've been doing this in this town for probably 30 years, so
Yeah.
or more. So yeah,
No, you're right.
so
That's something I see on my end too. Is like you guys are a great company, big company, but we're not crossing paths that much, and that's what's interesting about
yeah,
the lighting industry as a whole. There's just that much of a need for it that you see they have their lighting specialists in each market. It's regionally based, and you guys do really well. We do really well, and we don't really compete all that much, even though we kind of do. You know?
You know what, guys?
yeah.
I'm just gonna jump in here because yeah, we're people are. I find the same thing in Toronto. The long term lighting companies, we're all collegial with each other, and we don't cross paths that much. That's super interesting that the same thing happens in Toronto. The only time there's problems is when people start giving away free lights with these weird free light fixture programs that they have, and all these small business lighting. Now it's 50,000 square feet in Oregon. Small business lighting, 50,000 square feet. Isn't that all the buildings? So I think Tom. It's a great observation, and the only time it gets ruined is when someone gets an advantage over everybody else. That's not fair.
I would agree. Yep, we're seeing some of that here. I actually, I think we got to talk about the nailed convention. I think we
Okay.
got to. I think we got to start there, right? So, I'm highly committed to being a lifelong learner. You can't believe how much time I invest in continuing education. And when I participate in something like that, I'm literally looking for just one nugget. If I attend something and I walk away with one nugget, as long as I've been in the industry, I'm a happy camper. This last nailed convention was just chock full of nuggets. I was just blown away. We started out with a fabulous presentation on AI. artificial intelligence, I walked away with 5 or 6 ideas that I can use immediately, not only in my personal life, but also that my owners were not able to attend the convention. So I'm actually meeting with them later today to go over my notes and talk about some of the takeaways that I have. And I'm going to be talking to them about how we can use AI more effectively in our business. It's going to be, it was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Um, uh, Michael, I love the way you want to take on DLC. I had no idea.
I'm not.
You
It's
were a
not
little
me.
animated.
Hey, whoa! Hang on a second there. Hang on. Hang
That's
on.
well,
Hang
now hang
on.
on. Yeah. So I love the fact that you approached us and said, "Hey, this is a legitimate issue. We can address this and take this on far more effectively if we do it as nailed as opposed to nailed officers." Right? Spot on. So that was fabulous. I just, from my world, I'm interested in selling. I'm not paying attention to those sort of higher altitude issues. I had my own lighting business for about 10 years. I might have been interested in that at that point, but it just wasn't something on my radar screen. So I thought it was really helpful to get, you articulated it really well, what the issues are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, yeah, let's go for it. I think that was fabulous. We had a great panel discussion on rebates, and we had an absolutely outstanding presentation on LLLC, luminaire lighting controls, and other control issues. I think that was from Satco, wasn't it?
No, it was Rab Lighting that did the
That was
presentation on the
Rab, it
controls.
was
Yeah.
Rab. The lady who did that was just
But you see
fabulous.
how you can't
Was really,
remember? You see how you can't remember? Because that's what we told Matt Tates. We said, look, we'd love to have you guys present, but you got to scrub it. It can't be a product demo. It's got to go right down to what is goes across all control systems that are here in the room. And we had a few little complaints from some vendors that didn't like it. But you know what? Most people couldn't remember who gave the presentation, which company. And that's exactly what we were after, Tom.
right. It was, in my opinion, it was product agnostic.
Hmm. Yeah.
It was exceptionally well done. Yeah.
Hmm.
So here's the deal, y'all. If you're watching this, and like Michael said from the start, and you got a warehouse with light bulbs, and you're not part of this organization, and you're not showing up to the national convention, you are missing out. There you go.
that's
Woo.
awesome.
You can give me my $5 a piece back
Right
for
back to
the introduction.
Yeah, that you know
That was
what?
unsolicited.
Yeah, that was
that.
unsolicited, and people were fired up. The crowd, people were participating in the crowd. People had questions. We had a vote. It was not unanimous. So there you go. And everyone's like, "Oh, we didn't get a unanimous vote." I said, "Perfect, perfect. That means that people are thinking about it, and
You bet.
everyone's opinion is valued." Remember at the end, I said, "Where?" When I was told Matt, call for the against. And we saw that there was opposed, right? That some people
Yep.
opposed the
Yes, there was.
resolution. So that's a credible vote. That's how the system is supposed to work. So yeah,
That's right.
it was
No,
a
that was good.
firecracker
Yeah.
time. Can we talk about? I talk a lot about nailed. I kind of get nailed it out a little bit myself.
Well, we should.
I know, I know. It's interesting that you put in here that you can achieve reductions in lighting expenses by up to 85%. I've had a couple projects like that, like unbelievable projects where we went in and we looked at the lighting, and this is like 1 in 500, say, lighting projects that
Right.
you get 80.
It's not
Yeah,
every day, but it can be done.
yeah. Give me an example of a project where you walked in the building and you said, "Oh my goodness, this is, we can really do a lot for you guys here." Give me an example.
Well, with, there's a lot of lighting design that wasn't designed.
Hmm.
Somebody somebody did something, made some choices, made some selections, usually in the construction process, and it didn't fit. It just isn't what the customer needs. And There's too much light. There's too much wattage. Fixtures are too close together. Uh, it's too old. It's not maintained. It's not cleaned. All of the things that we have talked to our clients about forever in terms of maintaining the light levels that were designed. But you get into a situation where the wattage is way too high. And of course, with LEDs, which is a directional light source, we can put light where we want it far more effectively than we ever could with any of the legacy lighting. And so simple redesign, properly done retrofits, recognizing and understanding, for example, what the reflectors are in existing fixtures and whether that's something you want to reuse or whether you want to do something different. I would say probably 45 to 60% reduction is fairly common. I wonder if you guys would agree with that. You just to get 85%, you just got something that's just way overlit and way too much wattage, and you can come in and literally, in some instances, double their light output at the work surface, and have cut their load by 85%.
Totally.
It boils down to knowing your products, knowing your client, asking the right questions of what it is that they need and want, and then uh, uh, for me, it's always been tapping into the reps from my manufacturers and rep agencies to help find the right fit for that particular situation. I've learned to use those guys and gals to come in. They're kind of like the prophet from a far land.
But hang on, I want to go back. I want
Um,
to go back to what you said earlier here for a second, and I think Greg's got something he wants to jump in on there with too. So the way I see it is the commodity as a lighting distributor, the commodity knowledge is the guy that installs the light fixture, Greg. You know,
Sure. Yep.
and the commodity knowledge for like a Nalmco contractor, like a good lighting contractor, is the guy that has light bulbs in the warehouse. Right? And so there's people that know how to do lighting systems, and the ones that know how to do the renovation the best or the fix it up the best are either contractors or distributors. Would you agree with that? Like lighting contractors or lighting distributors, not electrical distributors and electrical contractors. Does that make sense, Greg?
Yeah, from my standpoint, it does. I mean, because that's all we do, right? So we focus on it. When you get electrical, you have all the other categories you sell. With us, it's just lighting. So I agree with that, and I think to your testament, Tom, a lot of people have for years done the retrofit one for one. They have this here, we're going to put one there, and that's all. We're not going to think about it. We're going to sell it. We're going to move on to the next one. And I think that phase is over or ending. I feel that because some of the competition we've had, Tom, have kind of gotten out of the market, and that's all they did. And that's why you're still around. That's why I'm still around. That's why Mike is because you actually take the time to understand the lighting system and doing what is right for it, not just what they have. But good work on that.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the separator. Is I did work for an electrical wholesaler in their lighting department for a season here in the Twin Cities, and um, in my opinion, the electrical wholesalers treat lighting as an ugly stepchild that they really don't want to have to deal with. Um, we do have some electric wholesalers in town who have quality lighting departments with bona fide lighting designers as part of their team. I think that's kind of the exception. Um, and they're involved in trying to design and sell the right product for the right application. On some level, I think their hands are tied because they're getting stuff that some architect has put together or an electrical engineer has put together, but they're not lighting people. And guys like us are generally coming in after the fact. I don't do a ton of new construction. Um, Fortunately, when I do, I'm in a position with those particular clients where I can impact the design, and I can come back to the EE or the architect and say, yeah, this isn't. Let's do this because this is going to be better for the client. Parking lots are a great example. And that's actually something I'd like to talk about if we have time a little bit later. Um,
You want to talk about
so,
parking lots? Like, this is such a
Well,
pack of lighting dorks, Greg.
no, I think that was going to be my next question, anyways. Tom is, and I feel like I know where you're going with that. Is you talk about your selling lighting, you're doing that, but you're a lifelong learner, and you're taking the time to really truly understand lighting, including that magazine that you held up at the beginning. And is this where you're going on the parking lot side of things? Tell us about it.
well, so there's lots to talk about on parking lots. So um, I'm uh, I'm so pleased to see that Nailed is um, highly committed to keeping the sky at night dark. Um, I actually recently, about 8 months ago, joined Starry Skies North, which is the Minnesota chapter of Dark Skies International. I prefer the term starry skies. Who's interested in a dark sky? Probably nobody. Who's interested in starry skies? Who isn't?
Yeah,
Everybody is.
sure.
I was visiting family in South Dakota, Spearfish, South Dakota, earlier this summer. First night there, we're sitting out on the front of the house. He's got a little deck out there. There's actually street lighting there. And I looked up and I saw the Big Dipper for the first time in over 30 years.
Oh,
I kid you not. I haven't seen the Big Dipper in
Okay.
30 years.
You know what? You know what's interesting? The commitment to night preservation and ending night pollution started with Brian Amundsen in 2019. He was the Nailed member that brought it to the board about. Remember, he was doing some dark sky stuff on the shores of Oregon where the
I
birds
thought it was
were,
ski hills or
and
something
ski
too. Or
hills. And yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he had a couple different projects going where they're like, hey guys, this is what's going on over here. And so he wrote an open letter to the industry saying, hey, we're lighting distributors. We don't know what you guys should make, but this looks like it's really important to everybody here in the coastal of Portland and these ski hills with the First Nations communities. They want to have the light pollution damped down. And maybe we should think about as an industry, figuring out how to do this right. Then we started. Then was it him or Jeff or one of them started the Starving for Darkness podcast? This is in 2021, Greg, not 2019, 2021. Nobody was
Yeah.
talking about it back then, Tom. Nobody. Only Nailed was talking about it. That's it.
Well, I'm going to put it up for the camera. This is the latest issue, October issue of LDNA, which is the publication from the Illuminating Engineering Society of North America. And the entire issue is devoted to dark sky preservation and
Amen, brother.
dark sky compliant fixtures. I paged through it briefly this morning. It's just chock full of really good stuff. Let's talk about wall packs.
Amen.
Gosh, holy cow. We have a highly technical scientific term for most wall packs. It is, however, understandable by any human being on the planet. That highly technical term is light pukers.
That's good.
Why on God's green earth are manufacturers still making these wall packs with an L-shaped glass, massive glare, massive light pollution up into the night
Well,
sky
listen,
when
Tom. Everybody, it used to be that everyone used to beat up on the contractors. Electricians are stupid. They always screw up my project. We can't start beating up on the manufacturers. The manufacturers are responding to market need. They don't make the decisions about the industry. The magazine you held up from the IES, when they stand up and they start doing what Greg's been telling them to do for 7, 8 years on Get a Grip on Lighting and grab the bull by the horns and say, look, enough's enough. This is how, we have to make light fixtures, and these are the reasons why we have to make them this way. And we're going to get a lot of input from Nailed, and we're not going to ignore them. We're not going to shun them. We're going to listen to the people on the streets that know what's up. And so, yeah, the industry's starting to change. It took 5 or 6 years, but that's good. That's progress, Tom. You know what I mean? It takes
Oh
time.
yeah, oh yeah. One wall pack, one light pole, one light fixture at a time.
Exactly.
So I have not sold a non dark sky compliant outdoor fixture for probably 10 years.
But lightbulbs.com has sold a lot.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't
No,
know. I
because
have no idea.
a lighting distributor, you're talking about within your projects where you're helping people out with lighting. And then part of that
Yes.
process is convincing them that, hey, buddy, we're going to shield this thing, okay? You're not allowed to say no to that, right? That's part of the deal. And if you go unshielded, you're going to have a light puker. You don't want a light puker, do you? That's so good. I can't wait to use that. Right? But you know what? As a
Well,
lighting distributor, people buy those wall packs off my site. I don't stop them from buying them. Do you stop people from buying lights from you, Greg?
I don't know. I get what Tom's saying, but no, there are plenty of people that still want them and ask them
well,
and request them and buy them.
We're not the boss. Who are we to
well,
say? At the end of
well,
the day, we're just one
well.
voice.
Here's what I do. All
Yeah.
right. If I got a personally, I can do this. I've been in the game long enough. I end up with a lot of credibility pretty early on in even a brand new relationship. And I just say, and I talk to them. And I can't think of a recent one, but I have literally said to a client, look, this is the wrong product for you and your property. And if you say to me, Tom, I want to do business with you, but I got to have this, we're going to shake hands and part company. I'm
Oh,
not going to sell
holy
that to
mackerel.
you.
I don't know. I don't have the guts for that, Greg. Do you?
Not yet, but maybe I got to grow up, Tom.
Yeah, I
Does
feel
it
like I
take
got to, I
time?
think I got to grow up too.
That's
What?
good though. That's fun.
Yeah, we need to grow up. We need to get a pair, and to put it in the King's English, and do what's right for the client. And I am not an environmentalist. I am not a tree hugger. I am a conservationist. I'm an Eagle Scout by trade. I grew up in the outdoors. I understand taking care and taking responsibility for our lives
You missed
and
one.
for
You missed one.
what's that?
You're also an American.
There you go. North American.
No,
You're
no, I'm
you're
Canadian.
you're a North American, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but you're an American too, right? And that's where I think people are starting to forget out there. They get in, everyone wants to be in some tribe. At the end of the day, we're all in the same tribe. You know what I mean? It's all Americans. And we all want to make America better. And that's why, like, listen, I love dialogue. Everyone has their own reasons for doing things. Some people want to do darkness. I just had a show where we talked to a designer that designs cave tourism and how they light up caves. Very interesting, by the way. Very interesting. But there's a lot more to darkness restoration and night preservation than starry skies. And so, we have to begin to learn how to sell those other things too, right? As lighting distributors, there's probably about 10 or 12 different paybacks for dark skies or for night preservation. We have to learn to incorporate that into the pitch, Tom. You know what I mean? Like, we have to learn it. That's why we did the DR. That's why we did our Darkness Restoration 1 is our first educational program, so that distributors can be taught the basics of this kind of area of lighting, which is about designing for darkness or preserving night as a starting point, Tom.
Yeah, I agree. I You guys brought that up at Nailed. I went. I don't remember who I went to, but I said I want to be the first one to take that class.
We'll get you
I'm
signed up.
totally
You
interested
just
in that.
signed up, buddy. We're sending you
Yeah.
an invoice after the
Uh,
show. I think it's $89 or
Okay.
something.
Whatever it is, I guarantee it'll be worth every penny. Um,
Nice.
yeah, it's that give and take, right? We can all learn from one another. I think that's one of the pluses about an organization like Nailed is it would be easy to see, hey, we're all in competition with one another. But I think Greg and Service Lighting and I are a perfect example of that's just not true. We have way more to gain by collaborating with one another and learning from one another than we do to be concerned about competing with one another. And if we're doing that, we're raising the bar on quality products, quality design, doing the right thing for the customer, um, and having the wherewithal to help persuade them to make a good decision. It carries some weight when you've jumped through the hoops, you've asked the right questions, you know what the client wants, and then they tell you they want something that's not good for them, and you say to them, I can't sell that to you. I got a
So,
lot of customers
because you have
who'll
to
give
go to
that to
nailed,
you.
you have to go back to nailed and stand in front of your colleagues with your honor intact, right? That's what you're
Yeah,
talking about. You're talking about the system. Nailed is a system of honor. You know, it's an honorable gangster. Satco, Satco.com. A bunch of honorable gangsters from New York. We're going to give you a final thought in a second here, Tom. I can see you want one more, and I'll give you one at the end to finish up the show. But you got to go to satco.com, Greg Eric.
Hey, their motto, doing the right thing, fits in real well with the show and might even be the title of the show. We'll
Might
see, but
be.
um,
satco.com. And of course, Tom is a member of the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors, where lighting means business. And lighting means actual products flying off the shelves, getting installed, bringing the lights back on for people. And so we're going to give Tom the final thoughts on this one because this was a really fun podcast and I really enjoyed it. Tom, close it out.
um, back to parking lots. Pet peeve: 2, 3, 4 heads on a pole. That was necessary under legacy lighting. It's not necessary any longer. I drive around and see these retrofits, and I see fixtures at a 20 and 45-degree angle. That's inexcusable to me. Oh my gosh. And a properly designed, most parking lots where they've got 2, 3, or 4 heads, those poles can take one type 5 fixture. We don't need to be at 3, 4, 5 foot candles average and 7, 8 foot candles underneath the pole. We can be at 1.5 to 2 foot candles average under LED lighting that's evenly distributed across the parking lot. And it's more than enough light for people to feel safe and comfortable because you can see across the entire lot. I've got project after project after project where we've been able to accomplish that. The other thing we need to start selling in those applications is occupancy sensing, so that if they need those lights on at night for security, they dim down to 20, 30, 40%. And then when occupancy is picked up, they instantaneously go to 100%. We need those. There you go. Just like in your office, right?
Exactly.
well,
They almost
You
always
got to
work
move
all
more,
the
Greg.
time, almost.
almost always.
So,
All right.
yeah, that's a pet peeve of mine to see really poor outdoor lighting and light puking glare bombs for wall packs on buildings. We can change that when we're out meeting with customers and updating their lighting. We can sell them dark sky compliant fixtures. And in fact, there's an article in this month's magazine about that. They're updating the standards for dark sky compliant fixtures. So the IES is taking some action. Again, that's an organization we can collaborate with.